I see a Budweiser. Go ahead and hold it up.
Yes. There's
that was
our
the
Budweiser.
biggest clue.
Yes, right
Doing
there.
it for Dale.
Man, it's so many gimmicks, right? I feel like they're making it a lot more complicated than it needs to be. I mean, a lot of people, you get polarizing opinions on DRS.
I know you guys know exactly what I'm talking about here, but sometimes the effort, it's all about the boys. You know, like, hey, you know, life sucks sometimes, and you need the boys.
iRacing kind of always has a tendency to kind of buff
Yes.
the new cars just a little bit. I'm not going to go on record saying it's because they want people to spend money on their platform and buy all the new content.
Confirmed.
But
Yes.
but
Turn one is going to be interesting. Let's see if everybody gets through it. Looks like there's a little bit of a bump there, but everybody's getting through it okay. Now into turn two, turn three. We're 3 wide right in front of them. Oh, we got
big
cars
trouble,
everywhere.
Big trouble. Kingsbury, you need to work on closing this gap and then maybe play the patience game. Make sure your tires are nice and cool. Don't overuse them. And to stay there in a good position as we see a pass for the lead. Hutcherson making the big move into turn one, Young Wall.
Like Kingsbury's trying to go around the out or the inside, but it turns into the outside, and there's contact. Marwan did not leave him any room.
Yeah,
oh no!
We get together.
Oh no!
Where he should be.
So what happened there, Mike? What did he do? Did he suck his tire off?
I'm gonna go mute now.
For the final time here from Slow Motion Broadcasting history, I'm on the mic tonight. My name is Adam Thompson, and not only is it my final time, it is SimCAR's final time in Season 2. We're at Sebring International Raceway today. I am joined by Mike Braun. Even though he lives in California, I still consider him a pretty good friend of mine. In the production booth, as always, is Daniel Zippy Salmon. Mike, we've got a race on our hands, but I'm going to cut you off real quick because we've got to get an on-track lap here, probably with Romain Rateau, before Romain decides to get off the track, and then we can talk to you about whatever the hell you want to do, Mike. But right now, we are riding on board with Romain Rateau. We're about to go across the start-finish line for the start of his probably final flying lap here. Going to be hauling here into turn one. Got to be very, very, very careful into turn one. The radius closes, and there's grass on the left-hand or the right-hand side, and so is there's a car as well. Romain going to try to get it up to the curb if he can. He does just fine. Going to be moving on now here to turn two. A bit of a little S here. It'll catch drivers out. You get into the grass as he has to let a driver by, and he just pulls off. So now we're going to leave it up to Zippy to find another driver to take us on board with.
That is the slow motion curse. Good job to Adam for giving us that curse.
Thank you. Let's try it with Blake Reynolds. Blake Reynolds back this week, everybody. Blake was down in Coda for the WEC race last weekend, so glad to see Blake back. We've already seen turn one. We're about to go to turn two. Again, easy on the brakes here. You got to get it turned in because you got to get back right and then back left. This is a very interesting complex of corners, and then you're going through Gurney Bend up into the hairpin. This is one of the most difficult spots on track. We're going to try to see some overtaking here, but it is not going to go well. I have a sneaky suspicion. I've broadcasted a few of these races before. Hit the brakes at the 300-meter board or the 300-meter cone. In this case, get it turned in. Now you're going to want to take as much curve on the left-hand side and then back to right, going through Fangio chicane now. Basically full throttle all the way up here to Cunningham Corner. Then you're going through Collier. So here we go. Gonna be rolling on the brakes at the 200-meter board. Get it right. Careful of that curve on the right-hand side. You want to wash out a little bit left if you can. Pops that curve perfectly on the left through Collier. Now we're going up to Tower, one of the most famed spots of any type of racing ever, I would say. Now, through tower, now we're going on to the back straight here. The Flying Fortress Straight is what they call it. Bishop Bend now, still moving on up into, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that one, but now turning right, now back left, and then we're getting to the back straight here. And Mike, we are going to see at the end of this lap, we're going to see a lot of overtakes coming here into the final corner. Almond Straight into Sunset Bend. Very, very difficult to get right, but there are multiple lines as we're about to find out. He's about to come into Sunset Bend right now. Watch how bumpy this gets on corner entry. He takes a very wide line there. Look at how much he's moving that steering wheel. He's deciding to stay way inside here. Watch it way out across the white line. That'll finish your lap. But Mike, Sunset Bend, that's going to be a point of emphasis tonight.
No, absolutely. Sebring is just an epic track to race on, and what a fitting place to have the ending season race here as we see Blake go a little too hot into turn one. But as we've seen in some of the other races that we've had this year, there has been no limit for excitement for these guys. And with as many cars as we have tonight, it should definitely be a good, exciting race. Looks like we've got 22 cars registered right now. And this should lead to some very exciting battles. These guys are going to be going door handle to door handle to just claim that last race victory here at Sebring. Adam.
Oh, my bad. I was totally muted the whole time. We will get points up, by the way, in between the heat race and the feature race. There is a 5-minute warm-up in between those two. But new driver here, Matt Parker, sitting in 7th place right now. Not bad for his debut. We don't have as many drivers on the track as there normally are. A lot of people had to call off tonight, but that doesn't mean that we're still not going to have a great race. Anthony Flores, the UPS man, all the way back there in 11th place. Right in front of his rival Marwan Mafta there, Mike. Marwan's really starting to show some pace at the end of the season.
Yeah, he had 2 great races in a row, taking the win in the AM class. But that does not go to short of Anthony. Anthony has done some amazing things for a couple weeks in a row, but has had some bad luck. But like you called him, the UPS man, he goes and full sends it into turns, and sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't work for him. And last week it was a little rough for him as he did send it into a turn and get tangled up with somebody and caused some damage and caused him some penalty to actually have to come in and get a fast repair taken. And Marwan was able to run away and hide with him. So it's going to be interesting to see if those guys do start side by side, how they pace out and how we get going into the racing here.
Yeah, absolutely, but qualifying is done, and we have a grid for you here. Starting with Romain Rateau, no surprise there, but what is a surprise is Blake Reynolds only 5/100ths of a second off the back of Romain. Blake is a very good long stint driver. We'll see what he can do starting from second place. Cody Crosgrove starting in 3rd with Steve Baker in 4th. Matt Kingsbury starting in 5th. Ryan O'Connor there in 6th position. Matt Parker in 7th, Ray Kingsbury in 8th, Murphy Nichols in 9th, and Steven Savigny starting in 10th with Anthony Flores, our first AM in 11th, Marwan Mafta rounding out your top 12.
Then in the 13th spot, you're going to have Elias Romain in the 13th spot. 14th is going to be John Ebersol with Josh Stultz in the 15th spot. And in the 16th spot is going to be KC O'Brien. Tim Brokaw in 17th. Brian Sohn in the 18th spot. Jason Lynn in 19th. And then we've got Travis DeFlumer in 20th. Daniel Colita in the 21st spot. And then 22nd, you're going to have Christian Youngwall rounding out your field. 22 cars tonight, Adam. Like you said, not a huge turnout for these guys, but it is the season ender, and this should be a lot of fun going on with these guys tonight.
Speaking of a lot of fun, why don't we take a freaking look at that track temp, Mike? 108 degrees here in Sebring tonight, which makes a lot of sense because it is September and it is in Florida. And Florida is always hot. I don't think it ever gets cold, but 108 starting out. And it seems like we're probably going to get quite a bit warmer before the end of the race. Mike, we've got a full pace lap here. What you want to talk about? You want to talk about your day at work, or we want to talk about racing? What are we doing here?
You don't want to talk about my day at work and my 2-hour commute home to come here and sit here with you. So But it is, you're talking about track temp. It's 108 degrees. That's going to lead to a lot of things with coming around, just coming onto Lowman Straight, that last turn to get onto the straight. Sunset Bend is going to be real tricky with this track temp, especially if it starts climbing. And also turn 1, so right where we're coming through right now. This is going to be a tricky spot as well with the track temp coming up. This is a very high speed turn, and this is where the guys are going to be trying to carry so much speed, and you're going to see a lot of guys in that dirt section right there on the top of the track off of turn 1. So it should be interesting to see. But like the last couple of weeks, we've had a lot of excitement, and I look forward to see what these guys can do now.
I have a feeling we will have even more excitement. It's going to be tough for them to top Laguna Seca, but I'm sure they're going to try. Romain Rateau starting in first with Blake Reynolds right behind him. We have to look all the way back to 11th and 12th to see our first AM drivers between Mafta and Flores. I wonder if there's a bit of, what's the word? What am I trying to look for, Mike? I'm not argy-bargy. I'm trying to look for a word, but I can't think of it right now, where I think Flores may be starting in this 11th position to get up into 8th, because remember, the top 8 get inverted at the end of this heat race. So you wonder if Flores may just be trying to gain a couple positions and then just try to check out. But with Blake Reynolds back in the field, that's going to be tough to do.
Yeah, no, it is really going to be tough for him to kind of work his way up. Blake Reynolds is super uber fast, and that guy he's going to be up front here. And I have a feeling he's just going to check out and try to run away with these guys. But Romain Rateau right next to him is going to give him a battle. Those two have had some great battles so far this season, and I look forward to see what these guys can do right now. But back to Anthony, it's not going to be a gimme to get up into that top 8. You've got, Ray Kingsbury sitting right around there in that 8th spot as well. So some of these guys that are ahead of him, it is not going to be easy for Anthony to try to get into that invert position, but we'll have to see how this 15 minutes of a kind of a heat race goes before we get into that final.
Ray Kingsbury is one driver that if I do decide to run this next season, that is a driver that I'd never want to come across on track, because it doesn't seem, no matter what track we're at, Ray seems to know how to defend, Mike, and that's going to be interesting to see what he can do tonight. Can he hold that 7th position? Does he want to start in 8th? Does he want to move up? What is Ray's goal here? But it doesn't matter what Ray's goal is at the moment, because we've got Blake Reynolds sitting up here in first place. Technically, it should be Marwan, I believe, not Marwan, but Romain, whenever he decides to catch up. But yeah, Blake Reynolds, Romain starting in the first row. I don't know why I keep getting those mixed up, Mike.
Well, that's what happens when you come out of the production booth and get into the lead spot here, sir. That's get all stumbled up. But it's going to be a great battle. I really see that these guys are going to be side by side going down into turn 1, and I would not be surprised to see somebody off track coming through turn 1 on lap 1. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see, and I will let you take them down the front straightaway.
Here we go through Sunset Bend now. When are they going to hit the gas? When is Romain going to get on it? Is he going to wait till the green flag? Got a bit of a long run into turn 1. Romain does not leave it late at all. Takes off right out of the corner. Massive jump on Blake Reynolds, but now Blake Reynolds is going to come under fire. It looks like everyone's actually getting in pretty single file here. Other than it looks like we might have Matt Kingsbury on the inside. Yep, that is a gigantic Mustang on the inside of, looks like, Cody Crosgrove. So from 4th on back, it is tight, very tight, Mike.
Yeah, and you see Kingsbury go by and get by Crossgrove into turn 2 there. So pretty surprised that these guys made it by. It was real clean, but you see that big old Mustang of Matt Kingsbury jumping up into the 4th spot. So good start from him. Going to drop Cody back a couple spots from his original starting spot. But as we've seen in some of the other races, those Mustangs, they don't slow down very well into braking zones. And those tires get really hot really quick in those Mustangs, because they're really trying to smash it. But we got one sideways coming around there in the back. That looks like Steven Savigny.
Yeah, Steven Savigny looks like he went around. We'll try to get a bit of a replay on that when we can, but there's still a battle going on back here. I see Tom Brokaw mixed up. We're going to do it right now. Why not? Oh, nope, we're going back live. Oh, nope, we're not. I don't know what's happening right now. Looks like Steven Savigny here in this Panda Spec Motorsports car just may have gotten a bit of a tap. I don't know who that pink guy was behind him, but sent him right around.
Looked like he just sucked a tire off into the grass right there and spun out. I did that just for you, by the way, Adam. I spun out. So I think it was just more tire in the grass than getting a tap, but tough break for Steven as we've got Romain Rateau out in front and pulling away right now as they're heading down that long Elman straightaway for the first time.
Got Blake Reynolds there in second. Matt Kingsbury, we're looking back to Cody Cosgrove. Cody's going to want this position back. He does not want that forward in between that line of Porsches in front of him. Let's talk about Ryan O'Connor, though. Guy in a Mercedes way up here in 6th place. Very impressive. He's the only Mercedes in the field right now, doing a great job up here in 6th place, Mike.
Yeah, the Mercs are not. I think that Mercs are easier to drive than the Mustangs right now. But it's one of my favorite cars in the game. But looks like he may have gotten into the wall coming off of the Sunset, but we'll have to follow back and see. But he is still doing a great job sitting in that 6th spot. And like we talked earlier, that top 8 will invert for that 45-minute final. So he's in good position right now to possibly start in that 2nd row. So a lot of guys you'll start seeing are laying back in this area and trying to get that front row start for the main event.
You remember what I said about Anthony Flores? You want to take back what you said at the beginning of the race yet, Mike, or no?
No, it's only 3 minutes in, sir. I have plenty of time.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Well, Anthony Flores is sitting in the P1 position. If this were to end right now, he will be starting on the lead of the grid right now. Romain Rateau up in the front, doesn't matter about him. He's leading. Blake Reynolds is slowly closing in, but I got to talk about Anthony Flores. Do you think the UPS man wants to send it for the next, I don't know, for 13 minutes, or do you think he wants to sit here in this 8th position?
You've got Ray at Kingsbury right behind him. That's like you said earlier, that is not one guy that you want to be running on the track at the same time with. So Ray might be pacing himself, getting the tires warmed up to the good temp, and then he might try making a move here shortly. But, Anthony is known for coming out of the gate hard, going in hard, and then things start to back up a little bit on him. So he's going to really have to manage his tires. Even for this 15-minute race, he really needs to watch himself. But he's smart. He knows what's going to happen, and he's sitting in that front row spot for the main event right now.
Do you know how hard it is for me to keep things PC when you say things like that on stream, Mike? But we are going to keep it PC tonight. Anthony Flores still sitting here in 8th position. Murphy Nichols in front of him, about 4/10 in front of him. Now 3/10. Let's keep an eye here on Anthony Flores. Anthony Flores might be going for a move here into turn 1. UPS man, is he going to send it? No, just a little bit too far back. But look at the back end of that Ferrari of Murphy Nichols starting to wiggle around already, Mike.
Yeah, like I said, it's 108-degree track temps. This is like turn 1. I really think is going to be a determining factor for a lot of these guys. They really have to tiptoe through here, especially when we get into the main event. They start getting a lot of track temp into those tires, and they're really going to have to watch their way around.
We need to go back to this pass here. Ray Kingsbury's lost another 2 positions. Well, 1 to Marwan Mofta. I think it may have happened in turn 1. We'll see exactly what happened to Ray, but Ray's really fallen back. He's lost another position here. Everyone's sending it on Ray Kingsbury.
Yeah, Ray is getting just hammered right now. I'm not sure what's going on. If he's got a problem with his car that's going to cause him, damage to come back. But this is very unlike Ray right now. As you see the car running right with them, the car number 5 of Elias Roman. Elias having some damage, so these guys are banging at doors. Look at that front end of Elias's car all banged up right now, Adam.
What is going on back here? We haven't seen any of this battle. Ray Kingsbury holding on right now to 11th. This is not where Ray wants to be. He's got a bunch of angry, damaged vehicles behind him. And Josh Stoltz about to make a move here on Elias Roman. Elias must have had some massive damage. I think he did from that Ray Kingsbury battle. Now Josh Stoltz might have a chance to get up even in front of Ray Kingsbury. Casey O'Brien really trying to get on the back of Kingsbury now as well. What is going on with Ray?
Man, he is really having a hard time right now. He's already down 3 spots from his original starting position. So he was in that 8th spot earlier, and he is just dropping down like flies. As we're on board right now with Casey O'Brien sitting in that 12th spot, trying to look for an inside line on Ray as he comes down the front straightaway. Good exit coming around. See him starting to inch his way closer and closer. And now we're coming down into turn 1. He's going to try that outside line coming around into turn 1, Adam.
Ray lets him have it. So there's something going on here with Ray. Look at how loose Ray is on the corner exit. There was someone spun. That was Matt Kingsbury. This is huge now. Let's see exactly what happens to Matt Kingsbury here. Does he get a bit of a tappy tap? Looks like he might be getting a bit of a bump draft. Oh, that Merc goes out to the right-hand side. What happens to Matt? That is a Mustang doing Mustang things, Mike.
It's more Porsche doing Porsche things, but he did a Porsche thing there coming into turn one. It just got a little loose, but I mean, almost like he had a slowdown down the front straightaway because he had to check up quite a bit, and Ryan O'Connor was able to get by him real easy. But here comes a great battle right now for that 5th spot with Cody Crossgrove, Murphy Nichols, and Anthony Flores up into the 7th spot. So your boy working his way up into the field right now. Matt Parker dropping back into the 8th spot. As we still got a bunch of banging around going in that back of that field. But Murphy Nichols right now sitting in 6th, sitting in that pretty spot. But Anthony is looking for a place to get by. He's sitting in that front row right now, Anthony is, for that invert, as we're just about halfway through this race right now. So that top 8 position looking to get flipped for that final, Adam, and he might want to hang out right there.
Yeah, new driver Matt Parker here is going to be on the lead right now, in the lead when it comes to that time for the feature, but we don't need to talk about that. We need to talk about Blake Reynolds finally closing in on Romain Rateau. And then the one thing I wanted to talk about, we saw how defensive Ray got on the entry of Sunset. That's really hurt him on the exit. Romain did the same thing, but he was able to keep it together. Now, Blake Reynolds is a very, very patient driver. We've watched him for 7 races. Blake Reynolds will find a spot, and he will take it. And I wonder if Romain Rateau can pull out a Ray Kingsbury-esque defense for Blake Reynolds.
Yeah, it's going to be a good battle of these two. These two are both very fast drivers. Romain's had a rough couple weeks, last couple weeks with getting entangled with some other people. But we'll have to see what's going on. But Blake Reynolds all over that back bumper as they come down hard into braking into the hairpin turn. As we kick back to Ray Kingsbury, come down into the turn 1 and way high up on that high side and had to chase it into the grass. So we've talked about that. The guys he had to chase that thing around or else he was going to spin out, losing 3 positions on that time. Something's really wrong with Ray's car right now.
Yeah, I'm wondering, and obviously here in iRacing, you can choose your setups. I'm wondering if Ray just forgot to put his setup on that car because there's absolutely no reason for that Porsche, as we see 2 Porsches battling up front, to be acting like that, especially because Ray makes most of these Porsche guys' setups. So there's absolutely no reason for that. Back up front, though, Romain Rateau, Blake Reynolds, still going at it. We're about to come through Le Mans up into Ullman. We might see a move here down to the inside. Is Romain going to get defensive? Is he going to let him take it? We're about to find out. Mike, it's all up to you.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. These two, honestly, they're pulling away right now. They've got about a 4-second gap back to Steve Baker in that 3rd spot. Oh, Romain gets way high through there, and Blake was able on the inside, able to hold that inside line, which is a very rough line to kind of hang on to when you can't chase it out. But Romain is battling to back out, and it's back out in front, coming down into turn 1. These guys are still going to be side by side coming down into turn 1. Blake takes that real wide apex all the way on the outside. Romain's holding it tight down it in there. Good, clean, side by side racing with these guys. And Romain's still going full send into turn 2. Man, these guys are going back and forth. Good battle going on right now, Adam.
Blake Reynolds does not want to let him have that. Romain with some Ray Kingsbury-esque defense. I called it. I'm so good at this job. But anyways, back to Romain Rateau, back up in the lead. Unbelievable defense for 6 corners. Blake Reynolds going to have to find another way to get around him. Now Romain knows he can go to the outside going through Sunset and make it stick.
So we've got, looks like we might have a little bit of action come back here. Casey O'Brien coming around Sunset, getting a little sideways. Oh, and there comes Josh Stoltz right into him and getting tangled up. Oh, there it is. There's Kingsbury rejoining these guys. So tough break coming around Sunset Bend there. And a couple guys towing to get into the pits. And I think Stoltz was able to drive it in. But back up front, Adam, we've got Romain Rateau still leading the way. Blake Reynolds sitting back, cooling his tires off a little bit. And they've been able to still hang on to that 3-second advantage back to that third spot. But your boy, Adam, are up into the 6th spot right now, Adam.
I'd be surprised to see Anthony Flores not hit the brakes here with a couple minutes left in the session to get that first position. I think that is paramount here. Maybe not so much as Sebring, but we got to get back up to the league. Looks like Blake Reynolds getting back up very close to Romain Rateau again. We'll see if Blake tries something a little bit different this time. Maybe into turn 1 instead of into sunset. Looks like Blake's trying to show his nose. Is he going to actually do it? No. Is he going to try it around the outside? He's close.
Yeah, these guys are going at it. Here he comes on the outside, coming around into outside of turn 2. This is a good high-low move that he could try, but he couldn't quite get it done. He goes high here to try to cut down low on that exit and not quite doing. So this is a nice little straightaway too. This is a good hard braking zone. Good place to pass as well. He might be just a little too far back, but let's see what it looks like after they come under the bridge. Sticks his nose out just a little bit, rechecks his thinking, puts it back underneath him, and comes back around as they come around the hairpin. These two are still going to go at it one more time around. This should be their white flag next time by. So these two guys are pulling away, still with about 3 seconds back to Steve Baker. Ryan O'Connor in that Merc, still hanging in that 4th spot as you see the field coming down into Tower right there. But the top two are definitely pulling away. Blake Reynolds looking all over that back bumper of Romain Rateau coming into that last half of the track right now.
This battle is going to be the one we want to stay on here. You can see through the top 8 on the left side. We're on a replay for no reason. We'll get back live. We are back live. Now we have Blake Reynolds going to the inside, though. That is a dangerous spot to do it. Blake thinks better of it. He wants to get through. Oh no, Romain Rateau. Reynolds goes around. Rateau goes around. Oh no, Reynolds has this. Where's Rateau going to rejoin?
Man, they were really, really close, and I'm not sure if he tapped him. It looks like he possibly did tap him when he came off that curbing. That curbing can be real dangerous with those cars, and it can cause some issues, but it looked like he may have got just a little bit of tap. Romain dropping down into the 4th spot, which honestly can't be that bad.
That's not a bad spot. That's not a bad spot to be. I was worried about Rateau getting pushed out of that top 8. He's back up into 4th place. Not a problem at all. We can see everybody coming across the line now. Flores, Nichols, Parker round out your top 8. Marwan Mafta just barely missed it. Going to be starting in 9th place when we do go to the feature with Brokaw, Sohn, Dave Flumer, and Jason Lynn coming across the line very shortly. Elias Roman back there, Matt Kingsbury, Ray Kingsbury, all of these drivers now that we're seeing come across the line had some massive issues at the start of the race. But, you know what? That was a pretty good heat race, I would say, Mike. Blake Reynolds, Romain Rateau. If Romain can get back to Blake, I wonder if Romain wants to return the favor on what just happened going through Le Mans.
I think it was just a racing deal. They were really close together. I don't know Blake as somebody that's going to go and, purposely get into him, but I think they were just one of those racing deals where they were real close to each other. Romain getting off the curbing, and Blake may have just swiped his bumper just enough to cause a little bit of discomfort with the car and spun him out. But like you said, it's not that big of a deal because he's going to be starting, in the 3rd row now instead of back in the 4th row. That is not that bad of a job.
Yeah, no, that is a great view, by the way, of our producer getting that slow motion broadcasting logo, and that was the contact right there. Blake did get into Romain's right rear to take him around. A bit of, it's going to get a bit interesting here. We're going to talk about points while we're waiting. As for all of the drivers come across the line, which they have at this point, we should be able to get a grid with you. But before that, why don't we bring up the points before the race starts? And we will talk about the Pro Championship. Blake Reynolds right now sitting in 1st place with Ray Kingsbury in 2nd, Romain Rateau back in 3rd. Romaine has a serious chance at taking second place here tonight with Ray Kingsbury obviously having all of those issues at the beginning. It's going to be interesting when we talk about those top three, but back to the AM. Let's see what's going on with them. It looks even closer. Kevin Bogart sitting in the lead. Kevin Bogart's not here tonight. Marwan Mafta is here. And Marwan Mafta's starting from 8th place in the feature race, Mike.
Yeah, this is going to get real interesting here. That amateur class is going to be tight. Marwan has got that hot streak coming up really fast and has had a perfect time to actually get into that hot streak and work his way up. He's had those 2 weeks in a row. He did a great job kind of managing his own race and was able to get going and lead the amateur class across the line. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can hang on to that. Unless somebody behind, if he has any problem and somebody behind jumps him, I'm not sure, but Marwan is in a great place right now for that amateur lead.
So while we're waiting here for about 5 minutes for them to do their warm-ups, I have to go do some adult things and move my sprinkler around. Why don't you guys enjoy some race cars driving around the track for this warm-up, if there is one? There are really no race cars going around the track, so I don't want to leave, but I don't want to flood my backyard here. So the second someone comes back out on track, please make sure to go to them. I will be right back, guys.
So as we see the beautiful setting of Sebring International Speedway here in amazing Florida, we see some nice, beautiful views. And we wait for about a 5-minute session here. This is where they go through and do a 5-minute warm-up. Guys can go out and get some more practice laps in. Maybe they change the setup and try a couple different things. Or they use it as a personal break to go utilize the facilities and take a short little break. But these guys are not partaking in that. Everybody's kind of sitting back right now. And we don't see any real action right now going on. But we'll have to see as Daniel can find something fun for us.
Well, I got nothing fun for you right now, Mike. Just the scenic views right now as everybody appears to be having a little pit stop themselves. But you know what? That's okay. It's definitely been a very fun, interesting, colourful race. I'm not going to deny that. Definitely a lot of fun on the go. But personally, it'd be interesting to see what happens between Reynolds and Rateau in that next race. Don't get me wrong, accidents happen, but is there going to be a chip on the shoulder? Obviously, Reynolds leads the professional championship right now, and Rateau really needs those points, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the main race.
Yeah, no, they're both two extremely fast racers, and they, like I said, I really don't think that Blake absolutely had any intentions on getting into him. After watching some of these other races, Blake does not seem like that type of guy, and I think it was just one of those things where they were just kind of covering the same area, and he was not ready for him to kind of slow up as much as he did coming around that Lamar turn to down Ullman Straight. So it's going to lead to some interesting information. I think it's still going to be a great battle. Romaine has really had a rough couple weeks here. And it's going to be interesting to see what he can do, as it looks like we hear some kind of engine going down the straightaway right now. It looks like Elias Roman's going to go out for a little practice. I'm wondering if he actually changed something in his car, because he did have a rough race that time. And I'm wondering if he maybe changed the setup, changed the wing angles, something like that. We'll have to see what he did coming around the first time by here.
Well, he definitely got a good portion of damage last time around, so it's good to see that the mechanics have been able to fix that car for him. It's great to see the Ferrari is back in one piece. I'm actually going to adjust my mic down a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry if I blew your ears off a little bit. Don't get me wrong. Even without a microphone, I have been known for such talents. My apologies there. But the Ferrari as well, I do find whenever I've driven the car, it does like to over-rotate quite a lot, especially under braking. Like, it's almost as if there isn't enough weight at the back of the car, which is shocking because it's a mid-engine supercar.
Yeah, but it's also known for kind of burning up front tires as well. So if you have like a fixed setup, the Ferrari is really known for melting those front tires off. But with an open setup like these guys have, they're able to kind of tune that out. And Elias has done a great job so far this season. He's had some really good runs, but he's another one that's been kind of bit by the bad luck bug. and it's just not been able to do very well. But it looks like we got a few guys back out on the track. The UPS man, Anthony Flores. Anthony out there doing pretty good right now. He will be in that invert. He'll be towards the front of the field. And I think he's going to actually do pretty well. But I think our man Adam is back and resumed back with us. And Adam, your boy, what do you think in that invert? How do you think he's going to fare out?
I think the UPS man has a serious chance to send this championship all the way up to the top step of the podium. I don't know, though. It's going to be interesting. Looks like we've got someone here in chat as well. Derby saying Marwan 4 AM champ. It's going to be very close between Marwan and Anthony. Obviously, with Bogart not being here tonight, Marwan needs to keep as close as he can to Anthony. He's got a bit of a buffer here, but if we can go back to those AM points one more time, I apologize to the producer here. I want to see exactly how close this is up at the top. Obviously, with Kevin Bogart not being here this afternoon or this evening, it's not going to be Kevin Bogart who takes this unless both drivers have massive problems. But never mind, we've got the grid to bring up, but we've also got to bring the points up before we get to that. Not a big deal, just waiting on the producer here. Don't mind the producer, just hanging out, waiting on the producer to do producer things. Hello, producer.
Not like you have not ever stalled in trying to get something through, Adam. I've announced with you enough times to know that you are an absolute expert at everything that you do.
Oh yeah, 100%. I would never do what Daniel's doing right now and robbing us of the grid and of the points that we asked for. Hey, there's the grid at least. We got Marwan Mafta starting in first place. Let's talk about that. We need to talk about the points after this one. With Matt Parker sitting in second, a pro. Anthony Flores in third, right behind him. These are two AM drivers that have a chance at the points tonight. And they have a chance at a championship. Murphy Nichols starting in fourth, Cody Crosgrove in fifth, Ryan O'Connor sixth, Stephen Baker in seventh with Blake Reynolds rounding out your top eight. Remember, Blake won last race. And
look
let's
who's in the ninth
spot. Romain Rateau sitting in ninth place as well. John Ebersole in 10th, Tim Brokaw in 11th with Travis Deflumier rounding out your top 12. Mike?
And in the 13th spot, you've got Jason Lynn. In 14th, it's Brian Sohn. 15th, Elias Roman. Matt Kingsbury back in the 16th spot. Next to him, Ray Kingsbury. So the two Kingsburys far back in the field. Going to be a tough one for them to work their way through. Josh Stoltz in the 18th spot. Casey O'Brien, 19th. Stefan Savigny in the 20th spot. Daniel Kalita in 21st. And Christian Youngwall in the 22nd spot. So back up to that front group, as you know, that battle we talked about in that heat race between Blake and Romain. I thought when you guys were calling the race over, I thought I saw Romain spin out on that last lap. I thought it was the white flag when we thought it was complete. So I think something happened to him on the true white flag lap, spinning out and knocked him back into that ninth spot, because he was running in that fourth spot after getting tangled up with Blake. So I think something happened to him on what was the white flag lap, and that knocked him back into that ninth spot. So that fifth row is, but he's going to be starting right basically behind, kind of over one spot from Blake Reynolds. So it's definitely going to be an interesting battle to see what those guys can do.
Yeah, I don't care, really. I don't care. Let's bring up the AM points, please, because this is what I really care about. Thank you. Hey, thank you so much, Daniel. Kevin Bogart, again, not here tonight. These are points before the heat race, mind you. Marwan Mafta in second with Josh Stoltz in third. Josh Stoltz had a terrible showing, obviously starting back there in 17th place. Anthony Flores, though, has a chance with Marwan Mafta. What Marwan Mafta does not need, Mike, is Anthony Flores challenging him. Marwan Mafta needs all the points he can get without Anthony Flores challenging him, and Marwan Mafta will be your AM championship your AM champion this season.
Yeah, Marwan's done, like I said, I keep saying Marwan's done a great job this whole season. He's been able to kind of run his own race and kind of keep at his own pace. He may just let Anthony go by, and if Anthony tries pressuring him, just let him go. because we have a history of this gentleman in getting a little too sendy and getting the tires a little too hot and having some issues. So we'll have to see how that works out. But 2 Mustangs out leading this guy's around for this first lap around. 1 AM and 1 Pro. This is definitely going to be interesting. And, you know, Matt Parker, new driver to the league, starting on the front row in the main event.
Not doing a bad job there, Matt Parker, to say the least. We'll see what he can do with Marwan on his outside. Who's got the better grip? Who's gonna blink? Is Marwan gonna try to get Matt to blink before he goes? Obviously, starting, stopping, and starting again is not allowed in any league, especially not in this one. Derby, Greg, thank you guys so much for tuning in for the race tonight. But with that being said, we are about to go through Sunset, Mike. It is going to be an absolute crapshoot. Who gets down to turn 1 first? Marwan is just holding his breath right now that nobody goes to send it on him on the inside. I'm not going to send it over to you because we're about to start the race, and I want to say this for one last time. Guys, we are coming through Sunset. The pace car is about to come off of the racing surface. When is Marwan gonna go? We are green for the final time here in Season 2 of SimCAR. Marwan gets a great start. Anthony Flores getting swallowed up maybe by Matt Nichols. Matt Nichols actually loses a spot. Murphy Nichols loses a spot. Matt Parker loses 2 spots.
Your boy Anthony up into the 2nd spot in that bright pink and white Ferrari. So Anthony doing a good job up into that 2nd spot. That's one car I really do not want to see in my rearview mirror. There is no telling when he tries to push by you. But Marwan Mafta leading him around for the first time by 2 amateurs leading the field around on this first lap. Having a tangle. Matt Parker in the wall.
It seems like maybe Rateau might have an issue as well, down 3 positions. Let's see what happened to Matt Parker, though, first. Coming through right now, turn 3, about to go up into 4. That was Rateau on Parker's left rear corner, just got him around. That is not what Rateau needed for his championship hopes.
No, that was a tough break for him. Matt Parker, it looked like Romain just was not, or Matt was not sure that he was there, thought he was clear, kind of cut across his nose.
Back to the lead, please. Back to the lead. We have a battle going on right now. Marwan Mafta down 3 positions all of a sudden. What has happened to Marwan Mafta? Down 4, down all the way down to 6th place. He's still holding on, though. Was there a bit of a sin by Flores that sent Marwan off the track? That is never something that is going to be discounted. But right now, Anthony Flores sitting in the lead.
Let's see what happened here. Is Marwan leading the way? Anthony right behind him, tucked in, going on a send on that inside line. Marwan might have been spooked a little bit, got off on the dirt, was able to hang on to it, but that whole bunch of cars back there going around Tower. Looked like there was about 5 cars getting around here. And that is Matt Kingsbury having a rough start as they're coming into Tower right now. This is where Marwan started backing up. Kingsbury a little sideways coming around there. Makes a move on the inside, angles up a little bit. Nope, he just spins it around. Romain barely gets by. Oh, Elias gets by. And man, there's just Mustang on Mustang going on around Tower. And then you see Brian Stone in the Audi up there having some problems as well. But back up front, your boy Adam leading the way right now. But look what he's got behind him.
Yeah, this has hurt Marwan Mafta now. Marwan's got to try to stay as close as he can to Anthony Flores. He does not want to put too many positions between him and Anthony Flores. He could lose this championship because of this. So Marwan really needs to put the pedal to the metal here for the last 43 minutes of this race. Now, when it comes to Matt Kingsbury, that wreck we just saw, Matt is normally known to be one that does some interesting overtakes at times. But I don't think that was Matt's fault. For once, Matt just got squeezed in the wrong spot at the wrong time. It's unfortunate for Matt Kingsbury as well. Ryan O'Connor sitting up here in 3rd. We're on board with him right now. Cody Cosgrove, though, really starting to track down Anthony Flores. I think Cody wants this win, especially with Blake Riddle sitting back there in 7th. We know he will not be there for long.
Yeah, this is going to be a great battle up here. Blake Connor is just sitting back there, right? Blake Reynolds back there in that 7th spot, already picking up 1 spot. He is looming back there in that field. sitting right behind Marwin right now and getting close to that back bumper right there. And coming onto the back straight right now, down into Sunset here shortly. Blake looking to get by, but we know Blake Reynolds, he just kind of bides his time, gets those tire temps up to where he likes them, and then all of a sudden he just takes off like a racehorse and tries to run these guys down.
Blake needs to be extremely careful on what he does, though, because through Le Mans last time is where he got himself into a bit of trouble with Mr. Rateau. Let's hope that doesn't happen again. We got Frederick. Speaking of Mr. Rateau, we got Frederick. Oh, I am never gonna. I'm sorry, Frederick. Yeah, he said go Romaine. So we got Ryan O'Connor, though. Oh, my goodness, with the move on Cody Cosgrove.
Man, that is Ryan O'Connor in the only Merc out there, jumping up into that second spot. And they are sitting right behind Anthony Flores. Anthony, that is not a group that I would want behind myself right now. That is a whole bunch of fast cars sitting right behind your back wing as they're coming down that short chute, coming into the hairpin, getting that big old Mustang hard under braking. You see those noses diving down into the hard braking zone, sitting right behind Anthony Flores, and just waiting and waiting for that chance to get a good run on him. He might be waiting for that Ullman straight, but it looks like he is just sitting right behind him. Not going to stick his nose out yet. He's just going to sit there and wait. But Cody Cosgrove right on that back wing, hanging on to the back of that Merc. As, if he makes any kind of move, he is definitely going to go full send with him.
We will get a track map up for you eventually, but right now we do know that they are about to come through Le Mans corner and go on to the backstretch of Ullman, and this is where is Ryan going to try to make a move? Ryan O'Connor not used to being in a position up this far. We haven't really talked about him that much, Mike, and I know he wants this win. He may not be in the championship fight. That doesn't matter. He wants the dub as Cody Cosgrove goes wide. This is going to be Ryan's chance. You can see Flores going left, right. What happened to Flores? He's lifting now.
I wonder if he ended up with a slowdown. He must have got a slowdown to drop him down. That's the only thing I can think, because he just, instantly dropped back into that third spot. Those are two really fast cars right there with Ryan and Cody. He just checking up and letting them both go by. So he's going to try to stay into that draft right there of Cody Cosgrove. Try to get some speed. Try to get a little separation between him and Marwin for that AM title. So that is still going to be on our radar as we're just barely coming past 6 minutes. So we still have 39 minutes left to go in this race. There's been so much excitement going on right now, and we still got that much more time to go.
Yeah, at this point, it does not matter that Anthony Flores is in third and Marwan is in sixth. This is what Marwan needs. Marwan can see Anthony in front of him. He can see the positions in front of him. This is what Marwan needs to win this championship tonight. What Marwan doesn't need is Blake Reynolds getting around him. So Marwan might have to go very defensive here. We might see the most defensive moves ever by Marwan Mafta that we've ever seen. Marwan cannot let this happen. Blake going to the outside, though. He's going to try to switch back. No, he's going to stay to the outside. Marwan does let him go.
Sometimes you see the car that's behind you, and it's a risk versus reward setup. It's something that you know this guy has way more pace than you, and you know that he's going to go and run away from you. So the best thing to do is sometimes is to let them go. Maybe you'll learn something. Maybe you'll follow him and see a line that he's taken that's a little bit different than you. Maybe you can get tucked into his draft and help pull you up a little bit farther. No telling. But as you can see, Blake Reynolds already starting to pull away quite a bit. And it's, separating himself. He's making that run towards the front.
Back up to the lead, though. We got Ryan O'Connor sitting here in first place with Cody Cosgrove sitting in second. In case you guys didn't know, am a massive Mercedes fan. I hate their road cars, but I love their F1 cars. So I'm really hoping that Ryan finds a way to be able to get this done. But Cody Cosgrove is a driver that has been in and out due to work this season. Clearly, he is no slouch, running a paint job that is mighty similar to Blake Reynolds. Wonder if they might be on some type of team here. I don't know, but Cody Cosgrove has a serious chance to win the final race of the season, try to catapult himself up in the points as much as possible. We have to talk about Anthony Flores, though, and Marwan Mafta. This is the battle that we are watching, Mike.
Yeah, just remember that the points are going to be based on position, not in your overall position, not your position in division. So, if there's 4 or 5 positions between Anthony and Marwan at the end, that is definitely going to be, a determining factor. That could be something big for Anthony if he can keep those positions between him and Marwan. That would definitely be helpful for him.
Yeah, 100%. And that's something, excuse me, that's something that will come to fruition here in about 35 minutes time. We still have plenty of racing left, guys. Don't worry about that. Not looking good for him at the moment, says Slow Motion Broadcasting. I did not mean to read that one. We've got Greg saying, come on, Romain. We have an absolute Romain watch party right now. Romain Rateau sitting in 11th spot right now behind Ray Kingsbury, which is not someone you want to sit behind, but Ray's on the attack, trying to get to and past Elias Roman.
And Romain Rateau has no front bumper on that car, so something really happened with this car. And but you see Kingsbury all over the back. Ooh, wow, hard under braking right there, trying to get into around Elias. Hard under braking, stays clean with him, gets a little wiggle. He's gonna to settle it back down, try to reel him back in. But Ray Kingsbury definitely has a little bit more pace than he had during the heat race.
The front end of that Porsche of Romain Rateau is great for cooling, not so much for drag. And that is really going to hurt Romain at this point, as he's got Steven Savigny, a guy we haven't talked about in quite a long time, maybe ever, right behind him and actually trying to close him in just a little bit. This is not a position that Romain Rateau thought he'd find himself in on the final race, and John Ebersole sitting right behind him even. We have got a pack of Chevys. Oh, come on, Chevys, man.
Wow, you're not a little too excited, are you, Adam?
God, I love Chevys, Mike.
It's good. It is. I mean, these guys are battling it out right now. You've got John Ebersole and trying to get by Steven Savigny right now as they come down into turn 1. These two Corvettes running nose to tail right now into that 11th or 12th spot right now. Still a great battle for these guys, but you see some great battles up the field too. Still up front, you still have Ryan O'Connor and Merck leading the way. Blake Reynolds on the move. Blake Reynolds now up into the 6th spot. He's checking up and getting right behind Stephen Baker, trying to close that gap. As we talked, he got by Marwan and he opened himself up to about a 2-second advantage on Marwan, and has worked his way up to that next group. So this is going to be a quick move. He needs to get by these guys as quick as he can because it is still a little bit of a gap back up to your leaders. It's looking to be about 5 seconds from Blake all the way up to Ryan O'Connor. And you do not want to let those guys run away, because that is definitely going to be, make your work even harder for him to try to catch up to those leaders.
We've got Derby in here saying Marwan going to regroup. My goodness, let me try that again. Marwan going to regroup and rally back. We'll see if Marwan can do that, but not all hope is lost for Marwan right now, because I'm looking at this driver on the screen at the moment, Blake Reynolds, knowing Blake Reynolds is going to make a move past Steve Baker, maybe through Sunset, probably going to discard of Murphy Nichols pretty quick. The question is, what happens when he gets to Anthony Flores, Mike?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see as you see Reynolds go on the inside of Baker. You remember, those guys are teammates, and sometimes, if you have a faster guy on your team, it's, he is quicker. You want to let him get by you and let him go to the front and doing teammate things, and he's doing a great job. Kind of like, unlike the McLaren team right now in F1, doing teammate things, letting the faster guy go by. But you see a side-by-side battle coming down into turn 1. Ray Kingsbury trying to get by Elias. This has been a great battle. Ray kind of slid back just a little bit, looking around the outside, coming into turn 2. Can't quite get it. Goes on that high-low move. Ray going on the inside now, coming into turn 3. Kingsbury sticking it down onto Elias as they come into that straightaway. Gets a little sideways at him and has to check up just a little bit.
Oh, man, Ray Kingsbury is getting a taste of his own medicine. How does this feel, Ray? You're not the only one that can defend in this league. Look at Elias Roman doing all the defending he has to. He needs to keep Ray Kingsbury behind him. Now you know how it feels to be frustrated, Ray. But with that being said, Ray Kingsbury, I love you, man. Great person. obviously an admin of this league. Thank you so much for everything you do. While we're looking at Ray Kingsbury, Ray's going to try it around the outside, around a spot that I would not expect Ray to make it work, but he's going to try it anyways. Don't look now, though. He's got to get it, make it happen, but look out, though. Romain Rateau's now there.
Yeah, do not discount, as the team in the chat saying, do not discount Romain. And he is looking to make a move as well. So he is right back there with those guys. And just side-by-side battle. Ray Kingsbury coming around the outside, trying to get through there. Oh,
he got it through Lamar. What a move by Ray Kingsbury at the cojones. The massive things on Ray Kingsbury to hold it around the outside there was unbelievable. And he is going to lose now. 2 positions is Elias Roman, but Romain Rateau is not in the best shape. Elias might be able to get this one back, but Ray Kingsbury is checking out. Look out, Tim.
Yeah, that was a good move from Ray, and he is already starting to pull away and trying to close that gap on Tim. But I think we can go back up front into the 4th spot now. We've got our guy up into 4th, Blake Reynolds, getting by Murphy Nichols up into the 4th spot now. So this guy is on the move, and he is moving up. And who's next on his hit list? Your boy, Anthony Flores.
Here we go. How much is Anthony going to fight for this position? This is huge. These are things we need to talk about. We got Cody Cosgrove, though, and Ryan O'Connor. Cody has finally gotten up to the back of Ryan O'Connor. What does Ryan do? That Mercedes is wide, but can he make it even wider, Mike?
Yeah, we're going to have to see, but these are teammates, so they've got, team colors going on, so it's going to be interesting to see what these guys do. But what's going to be real interesting to see is what happens if Blake Reynolds can get by Anthony, and we're going to have to see what he can do. Is we can have, Slowplek in top 3 spots going at it. I don't know, but man, these two are having a great battle right now with Cody Cosgrove tucked in behind that Merc. But as we jump back to Elias Roman.
Yeah, Elias, I mean, this is just unfortunate for Romain Rateau. I mean, he's got no front end. He does have a front end. I know his car is very, very cold right now. But again, he's got absolutely no straight line speed. That Porsche already is shaped like a cow. And when you lose the front end, when you lose the front bumper cover, it makes it even worse. Romain had absolutely no way to defend against Elias Roman there.
Yeah, no, tough break for him, and he's just trying to hang on to that draft and trying to salvage something. But you see the top 2 nose to tail, but right back in the back there, Anthony Flores has a whole rear wing of Blake.
Did you see that look, though, from Blake Reynolds on the back of Anthony Flores? He decided to hold it right now. We've got Sean Baker, though. Steve Baker and Murphy Nichols going at it right behind him as well. We've got battles starting to form here, Mike.
Yeah, it's 2 by 2 by 2 right now. It's a couple great battles going on with Steve Baker and Murphy Nichols going at it for that 5th and 6th spot. There's like 3 or 4 groups of 2 really battling it out right now. No way to decide, but it looks like just ahead. Blake Reynolds going around the outside. Not sure if Anthony just said, you know what, you've got more pace than I do. Just go ahead and take it, because there's a little bit of a gap right here. It looks like Anthony just kind of pulls over. Yep, he did the smart business move. That's what we call that. He knows Blake's faster. He did not want to get tangled up with Blake and cause any other issues. That's like a championship type move right there. He's trying to hang on to those spots. As we go back up top, Adam, back out in front, you got O'Connor and Cosgrove still battling it out.
Cody Cosgrove, I know, is Canadian, and normally Canadians are extremely nice people, but Cody is going to have to get some elbows out here, Cody. Come on, you're pretty close to America. Be that American. Get in there. You've got to make this move happen. But I do want to talk about very quickly Anthony Flores. When we saw in the background of that replay, there was a red and blue Mustang that was looming in the background of Marwan Mafta. That really did help Anthony. That may have been a championship move by Anthony, but the problem is Anthony is behind Marwan, and Marwan's trying to win the championship right now, Mike.
Yeah, it's going to be close. We still have 25 minutes still left to go for
Look
these guys.
out!
As Baker looking on the inside, can't quite get it done. Coming around Sunset and down the front straight one more time. So checks up, waits for another day to come by and revisit that time. But you see O'Connor and Crossgrove still out in front. Blake Reynolds right now is 4 seconds behind these guys. Mark my words right now, as we're 18 minutes and 30 seconds down, 45-minute long race, 4.5 seconds back to the third place car, Blake Reynolds. By the 30-minute mark, Reynolds will be on their back bumpers.
I want everybody that is watching this broadcast right now to look at the top left of the screen, that timing tower there. There are slide out lap times. Watch those slide out lap times as people cross the line, and watch Blake Reynolds and his lap times compared to everybody else. But it looks like Baker's going to try to get the move done on Murphy. Is he going to make it happen? He is.
Wow. No, not quite. He tried that outside line around the hairpin. Couldn't get by the Ferrari of Nichols. But he looks on the inside, coming down into turn 10 right now. Can't quite come in. They're coming into tower turn right now here next. Steve Baker just looking for a place to get by that Ferrari. That Ferrari acting like a Mustang. Oh, here it goes on the inside. Oh, in the tower. They may have touched just a little bit, but both of those guys have to pull it off.
They may have touched. I'm pretty sure there was a massive touch there. The fact that both of those drivers were able to hang on to it, that is great. But we got to get back up here to the front right now and talk about what's going on. Cody Cosgrove knows his teammate is coming. He knows it. He has got to get around Ryan O'Connor. But the problem is Ryan is also a sole pack driver. I don't know what's going to happen here, but Cody's got to get a move on it. Blake Reynolds has already closed the gap by a second.
As you mentioned last time around, let's see those lap times as they come by the stripe this time by. As they come by, Ryan comes by with a 2:01.4, Cody with a 2:01.2. Let's see what Blake comes by. That is a purple sector, 2 flat with an 8. So that is a full half second faster than those guys last time by. That is an amazing lap time from Blake, and he is closing in and coming in hard.
Oh, Mike, you got to stop handing me over with freaking statements like that. But yes, Ryan O'Connor, Cody Cosgrove still fighting up there at the front. Blake Reynolds is there and coming very quickly, as I just made one as well. But yeah, Flores sitting right now in a good position. Marwan Mafta also sitting in a great position. Steve Baker and Murphy Nichols are still at it, and this is helping Marwan as well. The best case scenario for Marwan right now is if Steve and Murphy keep battling, or if they wreck each other out. I don't want to say that, and I hope I don't commentators curse anybody, but this will secure Marwan's championship win.
Yeah, no, definitely. And these guys are, spin out. There's one. There you go. You just commentate curse Steve Baker. Good job, Adam. And I'd like to congratulate you for giving up that curse.
Well, yep, I have just done a thing, but it doesn't matter because I'm leaving Slow Motion Broadcasting as the owner anyway, so you guys get mad at me as much as you want. It doesn't matter right now. Yep, now we're just going to hand it over to Daniel Zippy Salmon to deal with all of the backlash after that crazy commentator's curse. Normally, I'm the one sitting down in the production booth, so yeah, I'm happy that happened. I'm happy for Marwan now. Marwan has definitely won the championship in this position. He's got Murphy Nichols now in between him and Anthony Flores, but Cody Cosgrove still trying to get around Ryan O'Connor. And when does the move take place? Now, Blake within 3 seconds almost. This is going to be another lap that is about 0.3 of a second faster.
Yeah, so you got O'Connor with a 0.14, Cosgrove with a 0.3, and Reynolds with another 2:08. So just closing that gap, another purple lap for him. Oh, and Cosgrove going on the inside into turn 2, getting that move done and dusted. And let's see if he can actually run away and hide from Ryan and maybe put a little bit of a gap between him and Blake, as Blake is just closing the gap on fast.
Cosgrove needs to find whatever power he hasn't been using behind Ryan and just absolutely send it, because Blake is absolutely sending it. He has had 2 fastest laps of the race, 2 laps in a row. Blake Reynolds is coming. But let's look. Romain Rateau on Elias Rubin back here for 11th and 10th. Romain has closed it back in on Elias and almost went for a move through the hairpin.
Yeah, that poor damaged Porsche is still trying to lumber his way around. He's doing a great job when he gets tucked in behind in the draft, but he's really suffering when he's out in front in that clean air. And he's kind of settling back right now, waiting for a hard braking zone as Roman's hard under braking in that Ferrari, and Rateau has to check up just a little bit. But once they get into clean air, Romain Rateau really struggles down that long straightaway. So he might be wise just to kind of stay right here behind Elias and just help draft with him and maybe get pushed up a little bit farther. We'll have to see how that works out as we're at 24 minutes down. We have 21 minutes still left to go. Mark my words, it's 6 minutes left in that time that I talked about. Yep. Blake Reynolds is moving, and he's about 2.5 seconds behind your leaders right now.
Derby in the chat saying Blake up on the wheel right now 100%, but Cody is playing the game. He has to play this game. He's got to have some tires left for that inevitable time that Blake gets to him. So at that point, Mike, when does Cody decide to just know he's in the lead right now? He's got clean air. He's not using nearly as much tire as he was behind Ryan. You've got to find a time to try to cool those tires down for the inevitable battle that is coming towards the end of the race.
But, honestly, he hasn't separated himself much from Ryan. So Ryan's still able to hang on to that back bumper of Cody out in front. So those top two are still nose to tail. But you see that other Porsche looming in the background in that third spot. As the last lap times by, you had Cody with a 2:01.4, Ryan with a 2 flat, Blake Reynolds with another 2 flat with a 9. So his last 3 laps were separated by 0.2 of a second. That's consistency. That is just an incredible driver right now, working his way up towards the field. But he has definitely closed that gap to just about 2.5 seconds to your leader. He is moving and coming in fast. But Cody Crossgrove, I really don't know. He's starting to pull away just a little bit on this lap. I don't know if Ryan is having some problems in dirty air and maybe falling back just a little bit, but Cody needs to really get out and get going because we've got less than 20 minutes left to go.
I think Cody sees that gap closing. Cody maybe using some of that tire that I was just talking about him saving. We'll see what Cody can do here. The good news for Cody Crossgrove, if there is any good news when you've got Blake Reynolds behind you, is the fact that there is one driver between him and Blake. But how quickly will Blake dispatch of Ryan O'Connor? We saw how difficult it was for Cody to get around Ryan. Now, that could have been planned. Maybe Cody is doing everything he needs to do to win this race. This is going to be interesting. Cody, massive blink there. He is back on the track, though. That was extremely scary, Mike.
Yeah, I saw him jump down the leaderboard right there, and I was like, oh, no. But you see, as you talked about, Cody Crossgrove stepping it up. 2 flat with a 9 last time by, so he is truly pushing now to try to keep that gap between him and Blake separated by a bit. Blake with a 2 flat with an 8 last time by, Ryan O'Connor with a 2:01.2, so just 0.3 of a second behind your leader, but just enough that he's dropped back to about 0.6 of a second. Blake Reynolds is still about 1.5 seconds behind him in the 3rd spot. As we're kind of jumping back into the field right now, you got Ray Kingsbury in the 9th spot. Then we go back up to the 5th spot, and then the 6th spot of Marwan Mafta. I'm used to it. Adam has been notorious for that, but we have jumped around all different things. But now we're on with Tim Brokaw in that 7th spot. That really kind of cool-looking Mustang sitting there right behind Marwan. Marwan is trying to hang on to that 6th spot. He's trying to get closer to Anthony, trying to not lose another spot to Brokaw and drop back in points. He's got a 10-point lead right now, if I remember correctly, 10 to 15-point lead on Anthony Flores before the heat race. So we'll have to see how the scoring goes at the end of this thing, but he wants to be as close as he can to Anthony to really have a chance at that championship.
Now, we do need to talk about Tim Brokaw here for half a second. Tim, it may have taken us a full season to get your name right, but I don't think we've got it wrong once tonight. So, you are welcome, Tim. You are no longer Tom. You are Tim until I decide to call you Tom again. But that's neither here nor there. We've got Marwan Mafta sitting right in front of him. Marwan needs to hold on to this position. Marwan does maybe need to get a bit defensive. I think Marwan is actually going to do the right thing here. He knows they're now looking at championship points. I think Marwan knows he's in an okay position right now. This is that gap that Marwan needs right here. He needs to be about 4 positions behind Anthony Flores. We do have Ray Kingsbury, speaking of Ray Kingsbury, right behind him, who is going to crunch the points after this and get us the points as soon as possible after this race. It might go a little bit longer into the interviews, guys, but just hang on because we will get you guys class winners before the end of the night. But speaking of class winners, why don't we talk about race winners and talk about Cody Crosgrove? He is now a second ahead of Ryan O'Connor.
Yeah, but look in that 3rd spot. Blake Reynolds with a 2 flat with a 5 last time by. That is a hot lap. He is still a half a second faster that last time by. Crosgrove with another 2 flat with a 9 in the lead. He's starting to separate himself from Ryan O'Connor, but that Porsche of Blake Reynolds is on the move, trying to reel him in. And he's trying to prove me correct, as I got 30 seconds for him to close in that gap and get behind O'Connor coming around this section here. But these guys are doing a great job as they come around the tower turn right now. Cody Crosgrove starting to separate himself a little bit. A 1 second advantage now back to Ryan O'Connor in that Merc.
He is, and I do believe we're going to have a guest commentator very quickly because this is my final race. I'm going to go pour myself a drink, and no, not an alcoholic beverage. It might be an alcoholic beverage because this is my final race up here in the commentator booth with you, Mike, and with everybody. So, Zippy, I'm going to leave it up to you and Mike for 1 second.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what is the worst that could possibly go wrong? I'm going to try and multitask. I mean, man, we're famous for being able to do that, said no one ever, but we're going to do everything we can. As you can see here, battles going on throughout the field. Actually, Tim Brokaw, he's right on the back of, actually, no, he's got on the back of him, Steve Baker.
Baker looking on the inside coming into Sunset. That is a tough spot to hold on to. Really tight on that inside line. And Tim Brokaw able to go around that outside, hold that speed up, and get that good run down the front straightaway and hold on to that position. They are running in that 7th spot, hanging on to it as Steve looks on the inside, can't quite close the deal into turn 1. This is that one real twitchy section. It is still 108 degree track temps. Good battle coming down into turn 2. Baker hard under the brakes. He could have easily collected Brokaw there in that 6th spot, but was able to get it slowed down and room another day. Oh, Brokaw off the track right now. Baker's going to get a good run down into the hairpin, Zippy. I think he might have a good run at him.
He definitely got a much better exit. You can see there, he's put the car, he's asserted his dominance, and he's putting it on the inside line, which for that very tight hairpin is exactly where you want to be. Is he going to be able to make a switchback? Brokaw left pretty much defenseless at this point. He's got Mofta behind him, and Kingsbury has closed up on that gap as well. But it's fair to say that position is done and sealed. I say that, Brokaw looking to put a nose on the inside, not quite close enough.
And real close and right behind him as they're coming around. And it looks like Baker's still able to hang on to that position, but Marwan Mofta is right back there. Look right behind Marwan now. That is Ray Kingsbury has closed that gap. Marwan definitely does not want to lose any more spaces than he can. And this is going to be really close as Ray tucked in behind that wing of that Mustang, trying to find a way by, trying to get through. As we still have about 13 minutes left in this race. Kingsbury all over that back bumper as they're coming onto the Ullman straight, leading them down. Oh, and Ray goes off the track just a little bit, loses a little bit of time. He tries to tuck back into that back bumper, get a little bit of draft down that straightaway, and it looks like Marwan makes that business decision. He knows that Ray is faster than him, and he decides to let him go by, Zippy.
Well, he's definitely very good at letting people go by at this point. Definitely an intentional, strategic move, and maybe you understand it with the points a little better than I do. Now, don't get me wrong. If he's getting scored overall, then it would be an absolute suicide decision in terms of, point scoring, but they must be getting scored purely by class, therefore giving him every incentive to, as Adam was just correcting me.
Nope.
He says he wasn't, but anyway, he's giving him every incentive to get up and out the way. Low risk, high reward. His battle is not with the pro drivers. It is with Anthony Flores, who is ahead of him, albeit on track. But you know what? He's sat in a good position for his championship standings.
So we do have Matthew Kingsbury here in the chat. And Matthew, I do apologize for your race, and I don't want to get into the politics of overlap, if it was or wasn't. But if I'm going to get into the politics, because again, it's my last race, and Zippy's got to deal with it. Yeah, there was some overlap there. But Matthew, no, I know that we can talk about the points being overall position. Now, the question is, between Flores and Mafta right now, there are 5 positions between them. Well, 4, but really 5. So that is really big. I don't know what the points totals are for each position. Those are things we got to think about. Marwan clearly has this in his head. He knows what he needs, and Marwan is clearly good. Now, the question is Marwan going to fight Elias Roman when he gets there? But look who just got around Ryan.
Down into turn 1, Blake Reynolds going on the inside, gets by Ryan O'Connor. Down into turn 1, turn 2 now, Blake Reynolds on the move. It is 34 minutes down. I was close, Adam, so close on my prediction, but he is on the move right now, 2 seconds behind your leader. As you see, our leader with a 2.6 that time by Reynolds with a 2.9. That's through traffic. That's through passing somebody, and he was only 0.3 slower.
Well, there is one bit of a spanner, as Zippy would say, that gets thrown into this, and that is Cody Crosgrove. The problem is Cody Crosgrove does not show up to many of these races due to work. He's here tonight. Let's see what Cody can do now. We haven't been able to see Cody battle that much as he's coming onto the back of a Penguin RC car. And while we're talking about Penguin RC, guys, thank you so much for sponsoring this league. Jason Lynn, Brian Soane's another one. I know there is a driver somewhere up in there that does a bunch of stuff. That would be Jason for Glass and Steel. Jason, thank you so much for getting all the points and everything. I know maybe tonight wasn't your race, but you're sitting in 13th place. It wasn't bad, but please, for the love of God, let Cody around you. Please. We want to see a battle here at the end, and he listened to me.
He checked up just a little bit. Cody gave him a little flash to let him know that he was going to be going by. So Cody Crosgrove out in front. Blake Reynolds still 2 seconds back. So, man, it's 9 minutes left in this race. I really think that I'm not sure that Blake's going to have enough time. It took him a little bit longer than normal to get up into these guys, and Cody is definitely pulling away and running some laps. So it's going to be interesting to see what can go on as we go back with Ray Kingsbury looking to get by Tom Brokaw.
No,
I did it.
You did it, Mike.
Oh, I jinxed it. That's a commentator curse right there. But Kingsbury going on the inside.
Oh,
Brokaw.
no! Oh, my goodness, dude. Tim is pushing him through Lamar right now to the back of Ullman. I do believe that, you know what? I believe Ray may have thought his overtake was a little bit. This is great driver's etiquette. Let Tim by and go back at him again. That Porsche is much better through here. Look at how much that Mustang is struggling now, Mike.
Man, I think you are correct. I think he checked up knowing that he may have been a little aggressive on that move and doing the good sportsman move, but coming down into turn 1, Ray on that inside.
I'm sorry. Fastest lap by Blake Reynolds again. 2 minutes 5 now. But look at Cody Crosgrove with the 2 minutes 6. Anything is possible right now. Blake really has to get a move on it to get back up to Cody, but we're still looking at this battle between Ray. I'm pretty sure that Mustang has seen all of its tires, and it has discarded them somewhere between turn 1 and Sunset Corner.
Yeah, it's the Mustangs are starting to fall down the field just a little bit, but you got Marwan not too far back behind Brokaw now. So, you know, if he could get going a little bit and maybe work his way up a little bit closer to Anthony. Anthony's still hanging on to that 4 spot. So we're still talking about that amateur points championship. Easy for me to say. I've learned my English from Adam Thompson, so if you have any problems, make sure you call Adam Thompson at slowmotion.com, and he'll take you care of everything that you've got. But back up front in that 4th and 5th spot, you've got Murphy Nichols right behind Anthony Flores now. So, you know, these guys, they are teammates. So this could be a good play for Anthony to have his teammate just kind of stuck in behind him. He could be playing as a lack of better words,
Mike,
a block, but we'll have to see.
I don't think Murphy is sitting behind Anthony. You can see Murphy. He is not sitting in behind Anthony. He is moving out. I don't think Murphy really wants Anthony to beat him. This is the final race. I think Anthony has now figured out that there's nothing on the line for him. Marwan may have won this championship pretty easily. We do need to talk about Romain Rateau, though. I mean, there is a little bit of a battle here. If we can bring up the S1 points very quickly, Romain may be okay sitting in 11th place here. Romain Rateau sitting in 3rd right now. Nope, Blake Reynolds definitely going to have this win.
Yeah, no, Blake has had going so good right now as still out closing that gap. He had a 2 flat with a 5 last time by. As we're coming around down into Ullman right now, those leaders should be crossing the line here shortly as we're back up with Romain still nursing around. Looks like he got the car fixed, or if there was maybe a typical iRacing glitch that may have happened. But looks like he did have a pit stop. So he did go in, get that fast repair, try to put the car back together, try to get some good laps in to try to get some, gain some more room. But as we go back to that 4th spot right now, Anthony Flores hanging on to 4th. Right behind him is Murphy Nichols in 5th. They are teammates. But Adam, you really think that he's pushing hard? He's trying to get by him through this section here?
I think Murphy may have a serious chance here to get around Anthony. Anthony is floundering now. He is 12 seconds behind Ryan O'Connor. Just lost all of the pace that he did have. Now Murphy Nichols, obviously in that Ferrari as well, seems to have a bit more grip. You can see the rear end of Flores' Ferrari just wiggling around way more, and he's not able to catch some of the corners that Murphy, I mean, look at how much better Murphy is coming through Le Mans onto Ullman.
Yeah, this is going to be a telltale right here, is if Murphy closes that gap, and you can see if he lifts or not, how early he lifts here. Yeah, he's lifting a little early.
No, he's not. He might be trying to go for an over-under here. He is. He's got this pace. He's got the speed. He's going to try to send it around the outside of Flores, and he makes it happen.
Anthony dropping back into that 6th spot. Murphy Nichols now into 4th. So, Anthony down to 5th. But Murphy up into the 4th spot right now. As last time by, you had your leader come by at 2 flat with a 7. Blake Reynolds, 2 flat with a 3. Closing that gap to 1 second right now. Blake is looking to prove me wrong, man. This is going to be a barn burner here at the end. Look how close he is now with 4 minutes left on the clock. He's got a chance to close in and chase down. It's one thing to close that gap, but it's another to get by.
Cody, you need to take all of those nice Canadian courtesies and throw them all out the window right now. Put your freaking elbows out, Cody Crosgrove, and do not let Blake Reynolds by you. If I have to interview Blake Reynolds again for another win, I'm blaming you, Cody. You have this chance. You've got this, Cody. Come on now. 1.1 seconds, Mike.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be interesting towards the end as you see Cody coming around the last set of turns down into Le Mans right now and coming down Ullman straight. This is going to be, he is 1.1 seconds back. Blake Reynolds just barely within draft distance. It's 1.2. Looks like Cody got a better drive off of Le Mans to try to get into Sunset here as they come around one more time. They're going to get
for the white flag here.
It should. They'll get one more lap. They will get one more lap because the lap times they are turning. He's going to get by for one more time. You'll see. We'll have to see what the lap times look like. Whoa. 2 flat with a 6. Reynolds 2 flat with a 4. 1.2 seconds separating your top 2 cars now. One little mistake from Cody. One little dip of tire that could cause Blake Reynolds to even close that gap. So they've got less than 2 laps to go. Blake Reynolds has to make a move and get going.
He's got to make something happen here. If Blake's got any off tracks to use, he might want to use them right now. I'm not telling you to do that, Blake. I know you're a much better driver than that. Obviously, if you guys don't know who Blake Reynolds is, it was and / is in the Road to Pro in NASCAR. So Blake knows his way around a race car in iRacing, and clearly he knows what he's doing in the road too. But does he know enough to gain 1.2 seconds in 2 laps up to Cody Cosgrove? I am so glad it came down to this for the final race, Mike.
Yeah, no, he's got a chance, but he's proved us wrong in the past. We've kind of checked him out earlier in the season. We kind of learned who Blake Reynolds is. We'll have to see, but it looks like Cody's separating himself just a little bit, back up to 1.3 seconds for him. It's able to get just better drives off the turn, get a little, grab a 10th here, grab a 10th there. He is really driving the wheels off of that Porsche. And if I remember correctly, Cody Cosgrove started this league as an AM and was bumped up into the Pro. So this is something for somebody that started in the AM class and is leading the whole race right here as the season finale here at Sebring.
Blake Reynolds is falling off very, very quickly. We need to go back to see what happened to Blake Reynolds as he run his car out of fuel.
Oh, that could be bad. We'll have to see what happened. He is now almost 2 seconds behind.
Massive lift. He could have had a slowdown into sunset as well. We don't know our producer in the ear there, but now this has basically secured Cody Cosgrove's win, and I do want to talk to Cody, obviously, after the race, but Cody is the reason SimCAR is even on this channel. Cody Cosgrove is the one that made the attempt to reach out. Cody has done everything he needs to do to get himself and SimCAR broadcasted on this channel, and Cody is about to win the final race of Season 2 in 2024, Mike.
Don't commentate, curse. Do not curse him yet. You have to wait until sunset before you say something like that. Cody leading him around on that white flag lap. He's been able, look at that lead, down to 1.3 seconds. And it was almost 2 seconds at the start-finish line. So that's going to be interesting to see, just make sure he hangs on. Adam does not curse him for this last lap. But in the amateur class, you still got Anthony Flores hanging on to that 5th spot, really working his way through, trying to hold on. Marwin Mofta in the 9th spot, so a few spots back. And Romain Rateau turning a 2-flat-0 last time.
Where did that one come from?
Man, yeah, that's a fixed car to get going. Man, that could have been a great battle up towards the front if he would have been able to keep that nose clean early on in that race.
Let's go, Cody. You've got just a few more corners, man. Do not let that fast MFer by you. Come on, Cody. Stick those elbows out. I'm pretty sure Cody's got it here, but Mike, I will give it to you. Maybe. Nope, I'm going to take it. Why not? It's my final one, so I'm just going to talk all the way through until they come through sunset. Cody Cosgrove about to come into sunset. Final corner now. Cody, you got to get this one right. Don't spin it out, buddy. Don't hit the wall. Cody Cosgrove is going to be your winner for the final time here in Season 2 of 2024 for SimCAR. Blake Reynolds with a great drive up 6 positions. Ryan O'Connor going to be coming home 3rd in that Merc, the only Merc in the field tonight, but we've got a battle going on behind him between Nichols and Flores. It looks like Flores is not going to be able to get the better of Nichols. Flores up into the wall. Why not? Great freaking season from Flores. We've got Steve Baker following him, Ray Kingsbury, then Tim Brokaw, but Marwan Mofta, I believe, is going to be your AM Class Championship, or your AM Class Championship for this season, with Elias Roman coming home 10th. Romain Rateau waiting on him to come around. He just now comes through Tower, and now he's going to be taking his long run down into sunset, Mike.
Yeah, that's Romain with that car getting fixed. Turns the fast lap of the race 2 flat with a 1. He backed it up with a 2 flat 0. So, I mean, 2 of the fastest laps. He definitely had the pace to run with those guys up front. Just, tough break for him early on. He had a rough couple races to drop him back in the field. But we'll have to see if he comes back for next season and really puts down the battle with Blake Reynolds the next season.
I hope Blake Reynolds shows up. I hope Romain shows up. Brian Sohn, Penguin RC Simulation. One of the biggest reasons Slow Motion Broadcasting is broadcasting your service tonight. Thank you so much, Brian. And the one and only Audi. Brian, you are a godsend to SimCAR and definitely to Slow Motion Broadcasting. Thank you so much. Jason Lynn as well. Also, Glass and Steel. All of the photos that we get from for our entry videos and our outro videos have all come from Jason Lynn. So Jason, very slowly making his way around Le Mans. Oh, he's already checkered flag. So yes, Jason Lynn from Glass and Steel. Again, anybody listening to this broadcast, anybody in the league, please hop in at the end of this one and we will talk to you guys. But I do believe whenever we can get back up, we do have some results. And we've got somebody sitting in the interview waiting room as well. So let's get through the results first.
Coming into our results, our final results here of the last race of the season, taking the overall win is Cody Crossgrove. Finishing in second, Blake Reynolds with an amazing run from the 8th spot to work his way up into that 2nd spot and try to close that gap. Ryan Connor finishing in 3rd, Murphy Nichols in 4th. Your first amateur, Anthony Flores, finishing in the top 5. Great job from Anthony. Stephen Baker finishing in 6th. Ray Kingsbury, good recovery drive from him to finish in the 7th spot. Tim Brokaw in 8th. Marwan Mafta in 9th. So we'll have to see what those final points look like in that amateur class to see what the overall winner is going to look like. But it is definitely going to be tight in that amateur class. 10th spot's going to go to Elias Romain Rateau with another recovery drive in 11th. Brian Stone in 12th. Jason Lynn in 13th. John Ebersol 14th. Stefan Stavigny in 15th. John Stoltz 16th. Matt Kingsbury 17th. Travis DeFlumer in the 18th spot. And in the 19th spot goes to Matt Parker, Daniel Kalita, Christian Youngwalt, rounding out your 21.
Yeah, and we do now have a driver that I want to talk to first because I want to save Cody Crossgrove for as long as I can. We're going to drag Marwan Mafta down here very quickly, and I know I just dragged you away from a conversation, Marwan, but I do believe you are the M-Class Championship for SimCAR this season.
1 point did it for me. 1 point, guys. It's awesome. This race was tough. I felt like Fernando Alonso doing all the math while I'm driving. It was scary, but it was fun. It's a shame that Kevin wasn't here. It would have been more spicy, but it's phenomenal. I love it.
I mean, yeah, Kevin not being here tonight definitely secured your championship for sure. Did you know that whole race, what you needed to stay in that lead? Obviously, Anthony Flores is a driver that you've always got to watch out for, but we noticed you making some moves, getting out of the way, so you clearly had the points calculated in your head before the race tonight.
Oh, absolutely. I was like, if I stay in second, he was ahead of me in the feature. I'm not used to start up front, honestly, but it was interesting. But yeah, it's a fun season, and I'm excited. We'll see what's going to happen next year.
Well, I hope to see you back here next year, and I hope to be on the track with you next year, Marwan. So I am so glad that you won the championship. Obviously, one of the first people I met in SimCAR. I remember coming in on one of your Thursday night or your Wednesday night races and just talking massive crap with all of you guys, and you were in there. We were driving around Long Beach. So, Marwan, thank you so much. Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much for everything you've done for the league, and thank you, Marwan, for giving us a great championship battle tonight.
Thank you guys for the broadcast and for the league, for everyone that organized that for us. It's phenomenal, and hopefully we'll see you next season. Thanks, everyone.
Is there anybody else you want to shout out? Because that was going to be my last question, but you already shouted out a few of us. So if there's anyone you want to shout out, go for it.
Slow Motion Broadcast, you guys, the SimCAR Racing, the whole team, everyone, Kevin, Matt, all the organizers, you guys are running a phenomenal race. It's good. Everyone is clean. Everyone is respectful. So thank you. It's awesome.
That was Marwan Mafta there, your championship winner tonight finished P9, but that doesn't matter because Marwan got the win. But we do have to bring in our AM class winner here. Mike, I will let you have him. But before I let you have him, Anthony Flores, the UPS man, you didn't send it tonight.
I didn't really have to today. I just had to get the lead right away because I knew it was for the championship. So that's what I was kind of looking for. And thankfully, it was fair, clean racing out there around me. Had no issues today, which is really hard to say, especially how this season has gone for me.
So great racing, and yeah, go ahead, Adam. You take him.
No, I'm done now. I was just gonna say I was gonna turn him over to you, Mike, but no, go ahead, take my thunder. It's fine.
Anthony, great job tonight on taking the win in the AM class. You were starting right behind Marwan. Did you have the points kind of scheduled out in your head, or were you just racing the race?
I was more racing the initial sprint, just the race, just to see where I would end up, and then as soon as Romain fell behind us, I knew he was going to get pole, so I'm like, I had to swap positions, and I'd rather start third than fourth going into the feature, because I think that was going to be my only opportunity. The Ferrari is good in the initial start, but like the tires start going away, it's hard to control in the later laps with the oversteer.
Yeah, no, definitely. But you've had some rough breaks over a couple weeks, but you had a good run today to finish in the top 5 overall and take home the AM win today. Congratulations on a great season. While you're up here in the booth, do you got anybody you want to shout out or give thanks to?
Yeah, I would like to thank all the promoters for SimCAR, for RC Penguin, Too Fast Racing, my team, Bombshell Racing. I have some great teammates. They're awesome to hang around with. They're awesome to drive for. And yeah, especially you guys. You guys definitely put on a good broadcast, and it's fun to watch.
All right, congratulations, Anthony, and we look forward to seeing you next season.
Thank you so much.
That was your AM winner, Anthony Flores, taking it back. And now, Adam, I'll let you talk to your good friend.
I wouldn't say he's a good friend, but he's the reason Slow Motion Broadcasting is here on the service. Cody Crosgrove, not only did you win the race, I know you didn't really have a chance at the championship, so we're going to talk about the race first. Cody, did you ever worry about Blake Reynolds?
As soon as I saw Blake coming through the pack, I knew he was coming, so I knew I had to get past Ryan as fast as I could and just do my laps and hopefully hold them off, and it worked out.
So Cody, I'm going to talk to you here for a minute. Obviously, we're waiting on Ray Kingsbury to come through with the actual points. Hopefully he hops into interview waiting eventually. But I want you to reflect on your season. First, we're going to reflect on this race. Clearly, you had the car. You were in a Porsche, so was Blake. And there were quite a few other drivers in Porsches as well, but they did not have the same luck as you. What allowed you, how did you know after the heat race that you were going to be able to get into the lead of the feature and just go for it? Obviously, you gained 4 positions. Did you think that was going to happen?
Well, I knew in the sprint, me and Ryan were pretty close all race, so I knew I had pace. And as soon as I got into the lead there and the feature, I just had to put my head down and do my lines and do a clean race, because I know Blake, he's fast and he's very precise. Like he's a good racer, so I've learned a lot off of Blake. So to get a win off of Blake, it's quite a big accomplishment for me.
It should be a big accomplishment for you. I would assume it's a big accomplishment for everybody, because that guy is just extremely fast. And we talked about him during the broadcast. Obviously a road to pro racer in the oval side of things, and to be able to come to the road and do what he does, and you're part of his team now. So clearly learning things from him they're going to take you places. What is your main goal here in iRacing?
Well, I do want to eventually get up my I rating, because I know my I rating right now is not what it should be. So if I could find time to get that up and do some more races with Soul Pack and hopefully get some W's for the team and go on from there. I just want to progress. That's why I joined Soul Pack, and I've learned quite a bit so far from this team, so I like it, and I gotta give the team credit because there's a lot of work that goes on in this team.
All right, so we do have somebody, aka our producer, wondering where exactly you're from in Canada, and I think we talked about this last week, but I think you're from the west coast of Canada, while our producer is somewhere in the east coast that nobody cares about.
I'm actually in Toronto, Ontario there.
Got it. Okay, yeah. See, I have no idea. Maybe Zippy can come in and talk to you for a minute.
Maybe.
If he wants to. There he is.
So I got to ask then, if you're in Toronto, do you support the Leafs?
I do, unfortunately, even though they suck.
So here's the thing, Cody. Like, I'm British. I say obviously. My boss supports the Leafs, and I actually watched them through the playoffs just to more, have something to, talk to my boss about. And one of my first jokes I ever made at this place of work was that I need to find myself a lady friend who supports the Leafs, because if they'll back a loser with that much loyalty and for that long, I can only be an improvement from that.
That's for sure.
Well,
so
hopefully.
Zippy and Mike, I'm going to let you guys take care of Cody for 1 second. I want to leave Cody in this chat. I believe we are done with interviews after this, but I'm going to hop down and see if I can drag any other SimCAR drivers up in here before we go for the evening.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Thompson on the recovery mission at this point. But Cody, I gotta say, it was an absolutely fantastic race as well. I did thoroughly enjoy watching you, and certainly as well, like, iRating's one of those things you look at and, sometimes you can take it with a pinch of salt. Other times you kind of see it as a warning. So to put it into context, the guys you beat today, you have a 2400 IR rating. You beat a 4797, so basically, 4800 and a 5200. You beat both of those guys. So how does that make you feel?
That, like I was saying to Adam there, it's been a long time racing with Blake, and haven't got a chance to beat him, and tonight was the night, and trust me, I was sweating the last couple laps because he was coming.
Well, I know when Top Gear did the celebrity drive, they had t-shirts for "I beat the Stig." Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you need to go to that extent, but certainly within a team, banter can be a lot of fun, and I'm just reminding you that the fact Top Gear did that.
That's a good idea.
So here's the deal, Cody. We're waiting on Ray to get into the interview waiting room. I hope he does, but I wanted to get, all the admins of SimCAR in here together, but it doesn't matter. So, Cody, we're going to get a little bit personal here for 1 second. When I started slow motion broadcasting up about 9 months ago, again, I hit you up, and you were like, yeah, we have a league, we need broadcasted, and we started chatting, and then you got me introduced to the admins, Ray Kingsbury in here now. So, Cody, the one thing I want to say to you is thank you. Without SimCAR, slow motion broadcasting would have never gotten back off the ground again. Obviously, it's not going away now. We've got a new owner coming in. We've got Zippy that was just talking to you. But, yeah, I want to say a massive shout out to you, Cody. You might not be around most of the time, but you are the reason slow motion broadcasting is back to where it's at in broadcasting races. So I want to thank you so much.
Thanks. No problem, man. Like when Ray and all the other admins were trying to find a broadcaster, I just went out looking, and I saw good reviews and videos on slow motion broadcasting, so that's why I wanted to give you guys a shout. And luckily we guys got you, and now we're gonna continue on with the season, and I'm looking forward to being a part of it with you guys.
You're locked in. You're not going anywhere. Cody. You're never leaving, ever. But now that we've got Ray Kingsbury in here, man, Ray, obviously a big part of SimCAR. Ray, you finished 7th tonight, but we don't want to talk about where you finished. We want to talk about what you do for this league, and I do believe, hopefully, you've got the points tallied by now.
Yeah, they just went up, so we definitely know who won what and all that good stuff. So, of course, barring any penalties and stuff. So, It looks like the GT3 class was pretty obvious. Blake won that quite handedly. And then in the AM class, Anthony Flores came out 5 points ahead of Marwin, so we will obviously have to wait for penalties. But because there could be something, you never know. But looks like Anthony Flores is your AM championships winner, so he'll move up to the pro class next season undoubtedly. Probably had the pace to be in the pro class this season. He put together some really solid performances, but it's always tough when you have a pro AM league to try to get that AM balance right, and that's kind of why we don't really have a pro class. We really just have an overall class. Those guys that are in the AM class are still really competing for that overall, but we want to give them that chance to participate for a trophy and kind of get something on their shelf and something to be proud of, in their early stages of sim racing. So
absolutely.
It was definitely an entertaining championship to watch.
Yeah, I mean, there are things you got to think about here. Obviously, if I come racing with you guys, not if, when I come racing with you guys next season, I ratings and stuff, they don't really matter that much, but at the same time, you want to be competitive, right? I mean, I would say, and I'm not trying to start an argument here, but there's a reason why you've got two different classes, because some of these AM guys, they're just coming out here, they're running, they want to have good battles with people in their AM class. When you take and you make it one single class, you get rid of the battles that those AM guys could fight for. When I say that, Anthony Flores clearly probably should have been moved up. But with that being said, Anthony Flores, we did not know he was going to be the winner. Marwan came in here saying he was 1 point. He had 1 point on Kevin Bogart at the end of this race.
Yeah, with Kevin not showing up, that dropped him down the order. I think he ended up being closer to 70 points behind Anthony.
Okay.
So I don't know if maybe I put the numbers in wrong or whatnot, but
that's okay. We can figure that out a little bit.
Yeah, he definitely had a really good season, Marwin. I'm a little sad for him. I would have loved to have seen him win it, but the good news for Marwin is he could try again next season. So,
well, I'm going to be trying it again with him next season, to say the least. But Ray, the reason I've got you in here mainly is to kind of talk about the season as a whole. Obviously, SimCAR is a bit newer. Kevin Bogart's not here tonight, which is a shame, but I know Kevin had a lot to do with getting the league getting this league off the ground and doing what has happened for SimCAR. But kind of talk me through this season. Obviously, you're getting broadcasted now. You guys have had some pretty good battles for your first season broadcasting.
Yeah, so I mean, officially the series goes back all the way to 2020. We've had, I don't know how many champions, but I think this puts Blake one more than me. So Blake's past me. He's now the king. And we took, I think, 1 or 2 seasons off of broadcasting, just because we couldn't find a broadcaster worth it. For a while, we were on FTF there, and we'd found a guy that we knew to broadcast, and he was doing a good job, but he moved and stuff, and something always happens. So we were pretty relieved to get our broadcast back up to the ground and have you guys come on board, because really what is difficult about running a league without a broadcast is, yeah, you'll get your core 20 guys, but it falls off to like 10 by the end of the season. We really had a strong turnout across this season. We started at like over 30, maybe 35 or something, and I think our lowest was tonight at 22, but we had like 7 regulars that literally like called out. So we were close to 30 cars every single week.
Yeah, I mean, you really were, and that's what I wanted to talk about here. Obviously, Laguna Seca was massive for you guys last week. Great racing, but Ray, before I let you go, man, is there anybody you want to thank or shout out? Obviously, I'm going to shout you out for the crazy defense that you've thrown out all season long.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason that I race as close quarters as I do with so many guys out there is because I trust them. I mean, guys like Tim and Kevin Fanning and Cody and Blake, and I'm trying to think of who else. Christian, John. We've all been racing together for 2 to 3 years, and the more I think about it, Tim Brokaw and Kevin Finney is probably closer to 5 years I've been racing with those guys. Because Tim I raced with on the rallycross side. Same with Marwin. So we've all been racing together so long, we just kind of trust each other, and it takes a lot of trust to be able to race like side by side like that with a bunch of different guys. And our rule book caters to that type of racing. Obviously, we encourage it in our rule book for you to race side by side rather than my cornering people. So that's part of it. How we lay out corner rights and faults for incidents kind of promotes you to drive clean and keep 2 lanes open. So I think that's why you're seeing such good racing as well. But it takes 2 drivers to go through a corner clean and to have a good battle on the broadcast. So every other driver that's raced alongside of me, I appreciate them. Haven't really had.
I don't think they appreciate you, Ray.
Maybe not, but I mean, they all come in and say they had fun after racing me, except for 1 or 2, but I won't name them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, before I turn this into the Adam and Mike show, I'm going to ask Cody and you, Ray, and you guys can decide how you want to answer this question. Running a league. I run one, but I just want people that are out there that haven't run one yet. What does it take? I mean, just kind of go into the ins and outs. You've got the broadcast now, right? And then you got to deal with all the incidents after all the stuff's done. And then you still want to hang out and just kind of talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty in-depth process. I'd say we've gotten pretty good about managing it in a way that's not all consumptive anymore. We used to review incidents like as a committee, so we'd race every other week and then review the off week. And that was cool and all, and we really got some we really got in-depth reviews, and I would argue we get the same quality of incident review now with this new system we have. We've got a website that allows for protests to be submitted, and then admins could behind the scenes offline watch the replay and submit a vote with their description. So, and then at the end of the week, right before race day, I go through and I compile the votes and put through the result. And we keep it impartial. You can't vote on anything you're involved in. We try to keep teammates away from voting on incidents with teammates, but sometimes that's tough when there's not so many guys adminning every week. But yeah, so there's always multiple people reviewing everything, and it's pretty impartial. So that's probably a hard one because that's just hard to manage and write a rule book that promotes clean driving and isn't punitive too much, but still puts people that offend it at a disadvantage, So that's tough. Obviously there's a lot of financial costs involved in it. Hiring a broadcaster is not cheap. You guys are definitely worth your money though. And there's a lot of other companies out there that are definitely more expensive. So that's probably the biggest challenge. And we only charged a $5 entry fee this season, so we took in like $150, which is pretty much peanuts. We charged at $5 basically, so which to try to keep people committed. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes. Brandon has to do the skin kits to make everything look sharp. We try to promote. I think at the point where SimCAR is now is we're trying to build our own community. We're not really so focused on just getting mass numbers. We want people in here who believe in the type of racing we're doing. They want to have fun. They want to build a community. And I think most people that are joining every week are seeing that community, and they're really excited for the next season. So that's good. And then the one kind of aspect I'm not mentioning is if you want to grow, be more competitive, you have to continuously invest. So we're evaluating plans for a more how to bring in more pro drivers. I don't mean like me as a pro driver, right? And whether or not we want to do that. So just coming up with ideas and all that stuff, it's difficult. I mean, heck, there's a process for even just choosing tracks.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely there is. But I'm gonna let you guys out of here because I know my co-commentator has a 2-hour drive in the morning. But Cody, anything you want to say before we let you guys go? League-wise, obviously you are now a league admin there. You brought SMB in. Are you happy about it, or are you gonna fire us now?
Nope. You guys are staying with us for a while.
All right. Sounds great. That was Cody Crosgrove and Ray Kingsbury, everybody. Thank you so much for such a great season. I will definitely talk to you guys soon. All right, now we got to talk about it. I have been drinking, which is not going to help what I'm about to talk about here, but
Oh dear.
Mike Braun, I met you through the wrong stuff. And you've been around for quite a while. Obviously, I had to move from Arizona to Nevada, and you stuck around before that. So this has now turned into the Mike Braun podcast at the end of the night, or the Mike Braun broadcast, I guess. But Mike, thank you so much for everything you've done for me, sticking with me through all the BS, seeing through all the BS, and still hanging out here in slow motion broadcasting. And I hope you hang out past me leaving the ownership role. I just want to thank you, Mike, for everything you've done for SMB, and it wouldn't be possible without you, man. It really would.
And I appreciate that, and I do appreciate the chance, the opportunity to some dude that just announces our SimCAR races to give me a shot and give me a chance at doing this. But honestly, there's only one way to go, and that's up. So it can only get better with you stepping away, Adam. So it's and I know Daniel's going to take this a long way. And
wow,
we'll see. We'll see Adam. We'll see Adam on the track next week. Next season, he's going to be sucking his tires off the track every time he comes off a turn. He's going to, all those analogies that I've used that you love, I'll make sure to use them while you're racing next season.
Well, I hope you can use a couple of them on me, Mike. But seriously, man, thank you so much for everything you've done. And why don't we hit it into the race info screen, Zippy, so I can do this for one more time so Mike can go to bed before I start crying. My name has been Adam Thompson, and for the final time here on Slow Motion Broadcasting officially, I'm signing off. In the booth with me tonight has been Mike Braun, and obviously production taking over for me for the rest of forever, as I've got a newborn baby on the way, is going to be Daniel Zippy Salmon. Guys,
thank you so
much.
You're naming your baby after me?
No, I am not. You wish,
you could.
Daniel.
You could. Yeah. I just told you if I know
back off the ledge there. Yeah. Thank you for pulling me back off the ledge there, Zippy. But hey, guys, until next time, SimCAR. We don't know when they're going to start next season, but they will be on Slow Motion Broadcasting, we hope. Keep in mind we got some upcoming broadcasts to look at as well. If Zippy can find those, we do. Here we go. We've got one more coming up this weekend. Ray Esports. It's the V Runoffs, guys. Gonna be an awesome show on Saturday at 2:00 p.m. Eastern time. Please tune in for that. We're gonna have Formula Vs, we're gonna have Formula 1600s, and we're gonna have SRFs. We are gonna have all of it, and it sounds like Zippy has one more thing to say before we get out of here.
Well, I do believe that, if you're gonna be parting out, you should at least explain to everybody why you are the Rabbit Range Thompson.
Oh yeah, so we're going to talk about that tonight.
It's a good story.
So anyways, my commentary nickname is Adam, the Rabbit Ranger Thompson. The reason for that is a couple weeks ago, I believe it was a Formula Ford broadcast. It may have been an SRF broadcast, but I've got two dogs. One of them is the purebred Corgi, a little bit older, doesn't give a crap. Another one is about a year old. He is a Corgi mini Aussie mix. So during the broadcast, I look behind me as I'm producing, and there is a rabbit sitting behind my chair, but it's not fully deceased yet. So I take the rabbit. I send a message, obviously, in the broadcast booth. Hey guys, I have to deal with what's going on behind me. So I take the rabbit, I put him on top of a bush where I know that my short-legged dogs cannot get to him. And I come back. And then I have to say, how do we dispatch of said rabbit? So I live out in the middle of nowhere, but I do have a bit of a leeway, let's say. Even though I'm in a neighborhood, I've got a sheriff that lived right next to me, so I went over to the sheriff's house, and I was like, hey, About to shoot the weapon here. Got a dispatch of the rabbit that my dog almost fully dispatched of, but obviously you don't want to leave something, crawling around with no front legs. So long story short, I dispatched of said rabbit, and that is how my name became Adam the Rabbit Ragers Thompson.
Yeah, I take full ownership of giving you that.
And we were all dying to know that too, by the way.
I don't think anybody was. I think it was only Daniel that was dying to know that. But with that being said, guys, my name has been Adam the Rabbit Ranger Thompson.
Yes, sir.
Joined in the booth for the final time by Mike Braun. Obviously in production has been Daniel Zippy Salmon. Until next time, Daniel and Mike, we'll see you later.
Turn one is going to be interesting. Let's see if everybody gets through it. Looks like there's a little bit of a bump there, but everybody's getting through it okay. Now into turn two, turn three. We're 3 wide right in front of them. Oh, we got
big
cars
trouble,
everywhere.
Big trouble. Kingsbury, you need to work on closing this gap and then maybe play the patience game. Make sure your tires are nice and cool. Don't overuse them. And to stay there in a good position as we see a pass for the lead. Hutcherson making the big move into turn one, young wall.
Like Kingsbury's trying to go around the out or the inside, but it turns into the outside, and there's contact. Marwan did not leave him any room.
Yeah,
oh no!
We get together.
Oh no!
Where he should be.
So what happened there, Mike? What did he do? Did he suck his tire off?
I'm gonna go mute now.
I see a Budweiser. Go ahead and hold it up.
Yes.
That was the biggest clue.
Yes, right
Doing
there.
it for Dale.
Man, it's so many gimmicks, right? I feel like they're making it a lot more complicated than it needs to be. I mean, a lot of people, you get polarizing opinions on DRS.
I know you guys know exactly what I'm talking about here, but sometimes the effort, it's all about the boys. You know, like, hey,
It is.
life sucks sometimes, and you need the boys.
iRacing kind of always has a tendency to kind of buff
Yes.
the new cars just a little bit. I'm not going to go on record saying it's because they want people to spend money on their platform and buy all the new
Conspiracy
content.
confirmed.
But
Yes.
but